English with Deck.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you all today? I hope you're having a pleasant day so far. I hope nothing's gone too wrong. And if it has, just trying to relax, enjoy yourself. So, yeah, it's a pleasant Tuesday morning. I use the word pleasant, but it's not bad, just simply because of the weather. No complaints, of course. On a rainy day, there's always things to do. But, yeah, pleasant's probably not the best word. It's a good morning, an okay morning, an easy morning, amicable morning. Hmm. Well, I have no complaints anyway. Yeah, so recently I have been really busy just trying to get on top of the business related stuff, and I've mentioned this a lot recently. Apologies if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed with me talking about business stuff. Don't worry, that is not the main topic, so no need to run away just yet. But yeah, been busy doing that, so there's definitely been a lot going on, and there's still a lot to do. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, It's all about the hare and the tortoise, that kind of thing. If you There's always things to do, there's always stuff to keep doing, and you've just got to keep checking those boxes, and you'll get there eventually. Actually today I was thinking, recently my eating habits have really, I don't want to say tanked, as in gone downhill, but definitely I am not eating as well as I used to do. And I think that is partly to do with my schedule has changed. How busy I am has definitely changed. And motivation to cook has changed. I do love cooking. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great skill, and it should never be lost. However, recently I've definitely been cooking less. I say recently, my breakfasts have just become a very simple toast with a cup of tea, maybe some cereal if I have an appetite for it, and then in lunch, quite often recently, it's just been some instant noodles. Not bad, I know, but could be better. Dinner is usually a bit better because obviously it's for the family, so a full meal then. Um, on the plus side, I feel I've lost a few pounds recently, but do need to be careful not to overindulge in the instant food. Carbohydrate packed food. You need balance. You need balance. Fruit, veg, all that sort of stuff. 5 a day. Blah blah blah. But yeah, what I would just thought about, now, what do British people eat? British food has that reputation for being bland, boring looking, not very interesting. And compared to Asian food, absolutely, it is not packed full of sizzling spices quite often. It is not going to be amazingly colourful. But, sorry, I'm drinking a coffee. It's a cafe latte, one of the ones in Japan that you get from the bottle. It's one of the hot ones. Definitely interesting experience. Again, too many of these and it's probably not too good, but moderation is key. Yeah. So I just wanted to let people know what British people eat, And the thing with British food, you have your traditional food and the not so traditional food. And I think that's one reason is because Britain is so multicultural. And that's meant that a lot of different dishes have come into British cuisine and really made an impact. Now, that could be a whole meal, it could be the spices, it could be anything. And that also includes the history of Britain and the British Empire and stuff going around the world. And yes. Now, I just wanted to go with some typical British foods first. Some typical ones. Well, of course, you've got the good old fish and chips. And fish and chips is, well, the name is self-explanatory, but for those of you who don't know, it is battered, deep-fried fish, usually white fish, like a cod, for example, with deep-fried potatoes, which have traditionally been cut into long strips. Not strips, long wedges, let's call it, long wedges. Okay. And then, obviously, you have the British English breakfast. Oh, I do miss that. A good British English breakfast. Now, that would usually be some bacon, sausage, baked beans, some mushrooms, egg, tomato, and some toast. Maybe black pudding as well, if you're into that. Absolutely phenomenal food, black pudding. Okay, and let's see what else have we got. Okay. Of course, there's the typical Sunday roast. Absolutely phenomenal food. It's usually some meat and veg with a side of potato, and then something called a Yorkshire pudding. Now, the easiest way to explain a Yorkshire pudding is it's not a dessert. It is not a dessert. It is kind of similar to a pancake batter, similar, and basically it is cooked in a way that it rises and it has a well in the middle. It has an indented middle. Okay, and then a great, really typical thing we eat in England is pie. Now, you'll see this in Australia, you'll see this in New Zealand and other countries as well, but definitely in England, we love pie. And that also goes to pastry pies. Now, when I say pie here, I don't mean apple pie. Of course, we have apple crumble. That is a great dessert. But pie would be meat and or vegetables inside the pastry with some gravy or sauce just to make it not so dry. And then it would have the top would also be pastry. Now, absolutely phenomenal. If you get a good pie in England, you are happy as Larry. Now, going on to, that's just some basic examples. We also have cottage pie, shepherd's pie, all these, which is not a pastry pie. That one is like similar to a bolognese with mashed potato on top. And then there are many more, but I won't go into them too much. Feel free to have a look if you like. But back to what I said about influences coming from around the world. Now, in England, we eat stuff like curry all the time. Curry, where does that come from? Well, various countries, of course. A really popular one would be Indian curry. Where does Indian curry come from? India. But the Indian curry you find in England will be tailored to the English taste. So it is very different from what you would find traditionally. Now, aside from curry, of course, we do also eat a lot of food from other nations. Now, let me just quickly search just to bring up some names quickly so as not to waffle on for too long. But if I search British food, now it's all coming up with the traditional ones I've mentioned. One second. Okay. Countries. Let's see. Oh, yes. Well, obviously, you have like lots of. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, of course, food from France, food from Italy, food from Morocco is obviously eaten a lot. I would say Italian, French, Indian, Spanish, yeah, for sure. Yes, Spanish are the main types of food eaten in England. Of course, there are many, many more to add to that list, but we won't go into them too much today. Now, just to finish off, I want to mention British desserts. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely need to be careful about the calories, but you have amazing desserts. Amazing. One of my personal favourites is a sticky toffee pudding. Now try and say that word really fast. Go on. I'll say it one more time for you, then try again. Sticky toffee pudding. Let's do it together. Sticky toffee pudding. Sticky toffee pudding. Sticky toffee pudding. And actually, talking about sticky toffee pudding, my sister-in-law did some time in England. Did some time. She went to prison in England. No. She spent some time in England. And again, her favourite pudding or dessert was sticky toffee pudding. Absolutely phenomenal dessert. I suggest you just have a look at it. I won't describe it. I will just tell you how good it is, and then have a look on the internet. Sticky toffee pudding. Okay. Yes, we have apple crumble traditionally. We have bread and butter pudding. And then let's go to the cakes. Of course, you've got Victoria sponge. Jam roly poly. Is that a cake? Yeah, sure. And of course, trifle. Now, remember, the foods I've talked about today are just a small section of British cuisine. There are so many to choose from, and I would love to discuss them again in more detail. But feel free to have a look and let me know which ones you think look really tasty, which ones look a bit too heavy, which ones look like they'd be interesting to eat. And yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. Okay, bye for now, guys. See you in the next one.